Hi, 7th graders. So we are going to be doing Chapter 6 review. I am going to review straight from a test. Now this is Test B, and as you can see, Test A is very similar, almost identical, just the numbers are different. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through each section to make sure you guys fully understand what the question is asking, so that when you take the test on Friday, you're not lost and it's not new for you. Alright, so let's go ahead and get started. Number 1 and 2 says write the percent as a decimal. This feels like so long ago. This was in section 1. But remember, if I want to go from a decimal to a percent, I go towards the percent sign. If I want to go from a percent to a decimal, I go away from the percent sign. Now this is a percent. Write it as a decimal. Move it over 2 places to the left. So your answer is 0.0005. Number 2, if you don't see a decimal, that means it's behind the last number in the ones column. Move over 2 places. My new number is 1.28. All right, now that was pretty simple. I hope you guys understood that in section 1 a long time ago. Number 3. A teacher weights the final grade as followed. 1/5 is your homework grade. 25% is for a project, and you get 0.4 for your quizzes and 15% for your final exam. Order these categories from least to greatest. Basically, what is the smallest and what is the biggest of those 4 things I circled? Remember, when we're comparing, we always want to change them so that they are the same unit. Now, you can either change them all to percents, decimals, fractions. I like to work with percentages, honestly, and most of these are pretty simple to make into percents. The first one right here, 25%, that is, a percent. 0.4 as a percent, move it over 2 places, 40%. 15% is a percent already. And now I've got 1/5. We learned in the chapter that if we have a number that is super easy to multiply by something to get to 100, we can change that to a percent really easily. Now, 5 times 20 is 100. So what's 1 times 20? 20. And we read this not as 20 hundredths, but we read it as 20%. So 1/5 is 20%. Now let's go through and find out which one was the least. The least would be the 15% right here. Don't forget, I didn't write it down, but it's right here. That's the smallest, and that was for the final exam. Okay, so we're rating the categories, not the numbers. So I have final exam. The next smallest is the 1/5 for homework. The next smallest is project. And the highest is a quiz. Number 3 is wanting you to order them from least to greatest based on the categories, and that's what we've done. If you were to number them, and instead of listing the categories and you just listed the numbers, I'm going to have to mark you half off because you didn't read the directions carefully. All right, I'm going to go and erase. We're going to move on. In exercise 4 through 6, use this table to answer the questions. Before I show you the questions, let's look at the table. I've got, it looks like people voted, or it was more like a survey. I've got 6th graders, 7th graders, and 8th graders. Do you participate in sports? This many 6th graders said yes, this many 7th graders said yes, this many 8th graders said yes. Do you participate in other school activities? This many 6th graders said yes, this many 7th graders said yes, this many 8th graders said yes. I think you can tell where we're going with this. We're obviously comparing amounts that are not the same type of amounts. I mean, like we've got fractions, we've got decimals, we've got percents. I have a feeling we're going to have to change everything to the same thing so we can compare them. Let's look at the questions. Number 4 says, which category in the table shows the least portion? which category in the table shows the least portion? So I think we should change all of these into percents. Okay, I've got 18%, this would be 22%. I'm doing the easiest ones first. 45%. Now, 3/20. Remember, 20 is a very easy number to turn into 100. Just times it by 5. That'd get 15/100. 15/100 is the same as 15%. Okay? And we got this guy. 25 is very easy to turn into 100. Times it by 4. You get 44/100, which is 44%. Now, they're all percentages. Which category? Remember, this is a category and this is a category. Which category shows the least amount of people altogether? So I'd probably need to add all these up and see which category that was. Okay, grab my calculator. Let's see, we got 15 plus 18 plus 22. That's 55%. Okay, so the next category, I've got 33 plus 45 plus 44, and that's 122. Very clearly, we can tell now which one had the least amount of participation. This one. Which is greater, the percent of 7th graders or 8th graders participating in other school activities? So we're comparing 7th graders and 8th graders. Which one is greater? Yep, obviously the 7th graders. 6. Your friend says that at least twice as many 7th graders participate in other activities as play sports. Is this true? So we go to 7th graders. She says at least twice as many. So what is twice as many for 18? 18 times 2 is 36. At least twice as many. That's true, because there's 45%, right? And we're saying 36% would be twice as many. So yeah, of course there's at least. There's 45. So yes, twice as many would be 36%. 45% is greater than 36. All right, I'm going to erase this stuff. Let's move on. Okay, this was the fun stuff that you guys really did like. Number 7, 8, 9, and 10. Now, on the test, it'll say, write and solve a proportion. Write and solve an equation. Guys, I don't care what you do, just solve it, okay? You don't have to do a proportion. You can just solve it based on how I taught you guys with changing them into equations, okay? So number 7, I'm just going to do 7. We can skip 8. That way we don't run out of time. Number 7 says, what number represents x represents equals 45%, change that to a decimal, of means times 60. How do I solve for x? Yeah, you just multiply. 0.45 times 60. 27. Your answer is 27 is 45% of 60. Okay, do the same thing with number 8, do the same thing with number 9, do the same thing with number 10. Something you do need to remember though is if it says what percent, you have to change your answer back into a percent. Okay, 11 and 12. Identify the percent of change as an increase or a decrease. Then find the percent of change. Round the nearest tenth of a percent if necessary. Okay, so first things first. Is this an increase or is this a decrease? If I'm going from 2/5 to 4/5, I grew. Okay, so this is increase. That's 1 point. You told me if it's increase. Now don't forget, how do you find the percent of change? You guys, you just take big number minus the small number divided by the first number they gave you. Okay? Big number, 4/5, minus the small number, 2/5. What does that equal? 2/5. big number minus small number, divided by the first number they gave you. I got 2/5 divided by 2/5. That's the first number they gave us. Don't panic. Skip, flip, and multiply. 2/5 times 5/2. There you go. What is the percent of change? 1. Now be careful. We got 1. We got to change that to a percent. 100% change. Okay? I can see a lot of people forgetting to do that, especially if you got an answer of 1. You got a 1. The decimal was right here. Move it over twice, so now we have 100%. Number 12. Am I increasing or decreasing? Yep, I'm decreasing. I know that because $8.75 is smaller than $18.60. I said $8, I meant 18. Okay, that's 1 point. You got your decreasing. Now what's the percent change? Take the big number minus the small number divided by the first number they gave you. And remember, you can use a calculator on these. 18.75 minus 18.60 is 0.15. Take that and divide it by 18.75 and you get 0.008. Now remember, we're changing this to a percent. 0.8% decrease. All right, that's how you do 11 and 12. 13 and 14. Find the new amount. Okay, so if I have 2,000 miles and it increased by 33%, I need to say, what is 33% of 2,000 miles? Okay, 33%, change it to a decimal, of means times 2,000. Okay, 30.33 times 2,000 is 660. Now be careful, that's not my final answer. You reread it. 2,000 increased by 33%. You guys, this number right here, 660 is the 33%. Now add it back onto the original. Okay? That's how you'll know what the final answer is. It's 2,000 plus 660, which then you get 2,660 miles. That's the new amount. Okay? You cannot stop at 660 because it wouldn't make sense. It wouldn't make sense for me to say that 2,000 miles increased to 660. No, it increased to 2,660. Number 14. 140 degrees decreased by 65%. Remember, we say 65% of 140. 0.65 of means times 140. So I'm going to do that. 0.65 of 140 is 91. Now remember, just like over here, that 91 is not the final answer. That 91 is how many degrees it decreased by. So I'm going to take the original, 140, and subtract the 91. You get 49. Oops, not percent, degrees. 140 degrees decreased by 65% would get you 49 degrees. Okay? Now remember, how I solved that was I said 65% of 140. Of means times. You're going to remember that forever, okay? All right, we're going to go to the next page. This is where your note cards are going to come in handy. Your note cards have the formulas on them, okay? Find the original price, the discount, the sale price, or the selling price. So as you can see, they told you what you're trying to find, okay? What formula do we use for this? Yes, A equals P times W. We have to remember, A stands for the part. A is also the sale price. P stands for percent. And W stands for whole, and it also means the original price. Okay? There are some special things we had to remember when we did this lesson, and I'll go over them in a second. First thing is, find the discount. If the original price was this and the new sale price is this. Okay? Plug in what we know. We know original price is W. We know sale price is A. I need to find the percent. Okay? So plug them in. I'm going to grab a scratch piece of paper so that we don't have so much chaos going around. Pop those numbers in. 0.15 equals P, don't know what it is, times 0.75. How do I get P by itself? Divide that 0.75 out of there. Okay, on my calculator I'm going to put 0.15 divided by, sorry guys, my video cut out, but here's where we were. 0.15 divided by 0.75, you get 0.2. Okay, so I'm looking for a percent, which means I need to move this over, and I get 20. Now be super careful. If you remember from our homework,
teachers, pardon the interruption. If you could
sorry
please
guys,
release the 9th and 10th graders to the library for Mr. Miller's assembly. Again, 9th and 10th grade at this time, please go to the library. Thank you.
That's the good part about me recording at school is I get interrupted. Anyway, guys, don't forget, I can't pop that 20% in for this. There was something weird and special we had to do. Remember? We had to take 100% and minus that number, and that's my discount price. That is so important to remember, you guys. I can't even stress it enough. So important. You could even write it on your note card. I wouldn't even care. It's so important. What is 100% minus 20%? 80%. My answer is not 20%. My answer is 80%. Okay? Let's do another one. Number 16. I'm looking for the original price. I'm going to rewrite my A equals P times W right here. I know the sale price. Sale price is A. I know the percent. The percent is this. And now I'm looking for the original price. Now remember, you cannot pop in 30% to P. You have to do the special weird thing. Remember, take 100% minus the 30%, which is 70%. 70% is what you're popping in for P, okay? So I've got 206.50 equals 0.7 for 70% times W. Now, how do I solve for W? Get rid of that 0.7, get rid of that 0.7. 206.5 divided by 0.7 is $295. That's your original price. The only weird special thing you have to remember is to take the percent and subtract it from 100 before plugging it in for P. You only do that when you're looking for the original price or if you're looking for the discount. Okay? If you have one that looks like this, on the other hand, let me grab my paper again, where let's say we're just looking for the sale price. You don't have to do that. So let me write down my equation. A equals P times W. I know the original price is W. I know the discount is P. I just got to go find A. Okay? So I'm just going to take 0.18 times 24.50, and that's what's going to get me A, or the sale price. 0.18 times 24.5 is 4.41. Okay? Now be super, super careful. The answer is not $4.41. The original price is this. The discount is this. What is the final price? This is the discount, you guys. I'm taking $4.41 off of that. So take $24.50 minus $4.41, and you get $20.09. Okay? Special little rules to remember. If you're finding the sale price, don't forget to subtract it from the original before you put it in there, okay? All right, 18. Looks like I'm finding the selling price again. So, this is a little different. This is a markup. Gotta remember, a markup means that the price is gonna go up, okay? So the store, like let's say this is a bike, okay? The store wants to sell a bike, but it bought the bike from a company for $145, okay? They're gonna mark it up 150% to sell to you. That's a lot of percent markup. I just need to take 145 times it by 1.5. I'm going to do that. 145 times 1.5. That's 217.5. Now, guys, that's how much the markup is. What is the selling price? That's not what they're selling it as. They're taking this and they're adding it to that. I know, it's going to be one expensive bike. Okay, they're taking 217.5 plus 145. You guys, they're selling you this bike at 150% markup. It's $362.50. My goodness. Okay, so remember, markup, you add it back on. Discount, you take it away. Okay? And remember, we use the formula A equals P times W for all of those. Let's look at 19 through 22 now. An account earns annual simple interest. I know what formula we're going to be using. IPERT. Find the interest earned, the principal, the interest rate, or the time, depending on what they're asking you to find. All right, let me grab my little sheet of paper. Number 19. Interest earned is what we're looking for, right? I don't know what it is, but I know the principal is this, the interest rate is this, and the time is this. IPERT. I know principal is P. I know my interest rate is R. And I know my T is my years. Let's go pop them in. I equals 800 times, now remember, change this to a decimal, 0.065 times 2. All right, I'm going to plug those in. 800 times 0.065 times 2. 104. 104 is how much interest was earned. Okay? Now, that's not the final price. If I want to know the final price, I'd take 104 and add it to my principal. But they're not asking for that, so that's okay. Just 104. Let's do 20. 20 says, I know my interest earned. I don't know my principal, but I know the interest rate and the time. Looks like we know this is our I. This is my P. This is my T. I just don't know. Whoops, sorry, not P. This is my R for rate. Okay, this is my T for time. We're looking for the principal. So it's going to be $7.50 equals P times 12% is 0.212 times 3. Now, to solve for the variable, combine the like terms first. 0.12 times 3. You get 0.36. So now I have $7.50 equals my principal times that. How do I get 0.36 out of there? You divide it out. Okay, that makes it go away. $7.50 divided by 0.36 equals 20.83333. Okay, let's round. Said round to the nearest, it doesn't say. I'm just going to round it right there. Okay? So, what is the principal? The principal is $20.83. That's it. It's really not so bad once you know what you're plugging in for what, right? Number 21. use the same equation I put. All right, I know the interest is my I. I know my principal is my P. I know my rate is my R. I'm looking for T. So it's going to be 235.50 equals 7,850 times 0.02 times T. How do I get T by itself? Combine my like terms first. 7,850 times 0.02. 157 times T equals 235.5. All right, how the heck do I get 157 out of there? Divide it out. 235.5 divided by 157, and that's 1.5. So the time is in years, so that would be 1 year and 6 months, or you could say just 1.5 years. Okay? All right, I'm going to go ahead and move on. We're running out of time here. 23 and 24. An account earns an annual simple interest. Find the balance. The balance. How much money total of the account? Okay, so this is my principal. $1,400. This is my interest rate. This is my time. Okay? I'm just looking for the interest earned. Just multiply all those together, guys. 1,400 times 0.0125 times 3. 1400 times 0.0125 times 3. Okay, when you do that, you get 52.5. Now, that's $52.50. That's how much interest you're earning, but I want to know the balance. The balance is how much total. Take your principal and add it to your interest. You should get 1,452.50. That, my little friends, is the balance. Balance means total. Interest plus principal. Okay, let's try 24. $5,000, that's your P. 6%, that's your R. 9 months, ooh, that's not T. You know why that's not T? Because T is in years. You have to convert that to years. There's 12 months in a year, so just divide it by 12. Now, 9 divided by 12, I mean, you don't get a very nice, actually it's not so bad. You get 0.75. 0.75, you can just leave it as 0.75. I think that's what I'm going to do. Leave it as a decimal. That's my T. Okay, now just multiply all those together. 5,000 times 0.06 times 0.75. Okay, 5,000 times 0.06 times 0.75 equals $225. Now don't forget, we're finding the balance, which means we're going to take the principal plus the interest, which equals $5,225. That's your final answer. All right. We're going to skip 25. I want us to do 27 though. So we're not going to do 25, we're not going to do 26, but we are going to do 27. The cost of manufacturing a printer is $35. The manufacturer has a markup of 15% when selling it to the retailer, and the retailer then has a markup of 35%. What's the selling price of this printer? Okay, don't forget, markup means adding it onto the total. So for the person to make the printer, it costs them $35. They have a markup of 15%. Of means times. So if I were to take 35 times 0.15, I get $5.25, okay? So they charge this much extra to that number to the retailer, okay? So now the retailer is taking that plus 35. So the retailer, like the store, Staples, whoever, they are paying $40.25 to get this printer. Now, once Staples has the printer, they give you a new markup of 35% to sell to you. So we're going to take 40.25 times 0.35, which is 35%, okay? When you do that, you get $14.08. You could probably round that up to 9. Okay, take that and add it to this, just like we did before. All right, that would equal $54.34. What that means is you are buying a printer from Staples for this much money. Staples bought it from the company for this much money. The company built the printer for this much money. So you can see how down the line of command, the price goes up and up and up, okay? But your final answer would be $54 because it's asking what is the selling price. So it's how much is Staples selling it to you for, okay? Now, the reason why we skip 25 and 26 is because they do not pertain on your actual test. I don't want to waste the time because I only have like a few minutes before the bell rings. But number 28, same thing. We're not going to worry about 28 either, okay? So as long as you can do 15 through 22, I feel like you're going to do okay on this test. If you can't do 15 through 22, rewatch this video and go through and remember my little special things, okay? There are special things you had to remember when it came to IPERT. There were special little things you had to remember when it came to A equals P times W, okay? Try to remember those. Also, you can use your note cards that we were making and use them on your test. All right, guys, good luck. Hopefully you do well on this test. It's the last one that I get to grade, so I'll see you guys in May. Bye-bye.